What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about shot process, how to approach each and every shot, whether that's here on the practice range, in competition, or in the tree stand, how to approach each and every shot with meaning and purpose in order to be the most accurate and repeatable that you can be. So stick around and let's dissect it. So all of us have walked up to the shooting line, stood in front of the target, drawn the bow back, and let a shot rip, right? And sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you miss the whole target. Well, the reason 9 times out of 10, and I'm not a coach, but I would say a lot of coaches would probably back me up on this, it's because you're approaching the shot with no thought, no plan, and no sequence that you follow, that you fall back on, and that basically keeps you honest in how you shoot. All the way from how you approach the shooting line to after you've already broke the shot, you have to develop some kind of process. Shooting a stick bow, it has so much to do with you as a person, your level of concentration, your level of strength and stamina, stability, your just makeup, how your face is built, how your length of your arms in comparison to your body. It all makes so much of a difference. Another person my same height, weight, general physique, whatever, may not be able to shoot a bow the same way that I can, even with the same amount of training and practice, because everybody's different. Everyone shoots a little different and learns a little different. So some waters you just are going to have to navigate by getting on the range and shooting arrows. But in order to get on the range and shoot arrows and get something out of it and develop that accuracy that you're seeking by watching my video and other guys' videos on YouTube, is you have to approach it with some kind of a plan, some kind of a process in order to build that shot. Because if you take shots just aimlessly, one to the next, you might get lucky and some of them be the same, but in the grand picture, you're not going to be the same. And I realize there's probably guys that shoot compounds. I know I've kind of mentioned it briefly, it seems like in a lot of my videos, but a lot of this stuff, it pertains to you guys too. You have, no matter whether you're shooting compound, a stick bow, Olympic recurve, whatever, a process, even shooting a rifle, a step-by-step process that you have beat into yourself in a non-stressful environment like this in my backyard where I'm comfortable shooting. Whenever it comes time, the moment of truth, you are going to fall back on whatever muscle memory and level of training you have. So if you have reinforced bad habits, no shot process, whenever that big buck walks in front of you, or whenever you approach the shooting line at a tournament, you're gonna fall apart because you have nothing to fall back on that is set in stone. So the importance of having a shot process, of all the way from how you approach the line to how you assess the target, if you're shooting gap, where you know that you're gonna have to hold the tip of your arrow to impact where you want, all the way through drawing the bow, breaking the shot, and your follow through, what you do after the shot, do you scratch your nose after every shot? It all is stuff that has to be almost religious, every single shot. And if you forget something, then you have to hone in on that. If you're lacking in something and you're leaving something out regularly, hone in on it. Joel Turner makes a good point of writing down on a piece of paper or a note board whenever you go out and do practice sessions, and keeping a log of where were you lacking, or where were your weak points that day, what were you forgetting, what were you lacking focus on in some form or another, and you will start to see a trend. And whenever you see those trends, you focus on those things. All of us can walk up to the shooting line and look down at your feet, get them about shoulder width apart, drop one leg back, maybe a little, to give yourself a more open stance, and be kind of squared off perpendicular from the target like this, or bladed away from the target. We can all do that and remember to do that for the most part, but from there, what do you do? So I want to, in this video, without making it ungodly long, I want to walk through my shot process, because I can't tell you, I'm not a certified coach. I'm not going to tell you this is what you have to do in order to be accurate. This is what I do in order for me to be accurate. But if it gives you something to reference off of, if it gives you something to try to seek out some more information on, even if it's a particular part of my shot process, then I hope that inspires you to scratch that itch a little bit and figure that out for yourself, so that you are able to be as accurate as you can, because nobody likes just spraying arrows at a target, and it feels really good to have those shots be the same every time and break clean and hit right where you want them. And then whenever it comes time to go to the woods, that confidence, it can't be bought. Okay, so without making this any more complicated than need be, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to verbally walk you through my entire shot process just by walking up to the line and going from there, rather than focusing on every little tidbit. This would be a 30-minute long video. So I'm just going to walk up to the shooting line. I'm shooting pretty close, about 12 yards, and just verbally walk you through everything that I'm doing as I do it. And then you can go back through if you need to, stop and pause this video, rewind, and go back through. And I'll give some brief explanations of why I'm doing what I'm doing as I go, but for the most part, I'm just gonna verbally walk through my process so you guys are able to more so hear what I'm thinking and my thought process behind everything. So I approach the line, there's my target, right? I blade off away from the target. Some guys like to shoot with their toes facing straight in front of them, shoulder width apart. I like to drop the foot that's closest to the target back just a little bit, because that just opens my hips up a little bit and it gives a little bit more range of motion, a little bit of clearance for the string. That's just the way that I shoot. So I drop that foot back, I've addressed the target, and in this situation, I know what the range is, but if I wasn't sure, I would go ahead and get my range. I know I'm about right at 12 yards. And at 12 yards, shooting a gap system, I need to aim about 18 inches under the point that I want to hit. So I see about what 18 inches is. I address the string, I shoot 3 under, so I address the string, get my my hook to where it feels good, feels right. I address the handle of the grip of the bow. The way that I shoot, I get it out of the lifeline, or the web, if you will, of your hand, because if you have the handle directly in that crease right there, then you're getting pressure from both sides of your hand rather than just one. So in order to have best bone-to-bone contact, I usually have the grip of the bow, it's about right in there, right at the base of that thumb joint. So dress the string with my tab, get my hook, and kind of pull into the bow a little bit because that seats my hand. I see the spot where the tip of my arrow is gonna be. I see the spot that I want to hit. I go ahead and place the tip of my arrow. As soon as I bring my bow up like this, I put the tip of my arrow where I know it's gonna need to be in order to hit the spot. And then whenever I get to full draw, my subconscious, it will keep that arrow there. And your brain will hold that arrow, or if you're shooting a compound, it'll hold that pin where it needs to be way better than you can. So just get the aiming out of the way and forget about it. And if your arrow's drifting a little bit, it's okay. Trust the drift, let it float, let it happen. And because if you start worrying about it, you're gonna be not focusing on where you wanna hit, you're gonna be focusing on the arrow, and you're gonna lose concentration altogether. And at that point, you might as well just let down because you've just ruined the shot. So approach target, I know where I want to place the tip of my arrow. I see where I want to hit. I get my body in position. I'm canting just a little bit. Pressure against the string. I'm feeling good. I rotate, make sure my elbow's rotated out just a little bit because it locks my arm into place. Go ahead and get my shoulder where I want it, or my elbow where I want it. And I tell myself some things and talk to myself a little bit as I'm going through the shot, because it helps for me, especially in practice. It's reinforcing and breaking up segments of this process. So this is what I tell myself. Relax. Draw my bow, get to anchor. Perfection. Got my point where I need to have the tip of my arrow. Pull, 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 pull. So what I'm doing is I am telling myself, even if whether I'm speaking it aloud or in my mind, I am verbally, in some way, walking myself through the most important part of this process, which is the shot itself. Whenever you're at full draw and you're pulling into your back and making that shot happen. I shot that a little bit right, so don't judge me too hard. What that does is, it, as Joel Turner describes it, I'm not ripping any of this off of him. This is stuff that he has said and others have said that I implement on my shot process. Again, I'm not coaching, I'm just relaying to you how I do what I do. I'm keeping myself in the present by having some kind of verbal conversation with myself. And that conversation is reminding myself to relax. Relax my bow arm, not be tense, not being all, I hope I hit the target. I know I'm gonna hit the target. I know I'm gonna make the shot. Keeping a relaxed wrist and forearm is absolutely paramount whenever it comes to being consistent and accurate, because if you're tense and you're on your string hand and in your forearm, you're gonna pluck and you're going to see it regularly. So that verbal command, reminding myself to relax, it is exactly what it is. It's just a quick reminder. Take a chill pill, think about what you're doing, relax, and make sure that you're in alignment. I get back to full draw. Perfection. This is where I've broken up the segments of my shot. It's now game time. I'm now beginning the process of making this shot happen. Perfection. Pull, 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 pull until that shot breaks. Continuously pulling, continuously creating that pressure until it has somewhere that I hear the click of my clicker on my bow go off, and that is the cue to break that shot. But I'm pulling through it. I'm consciously reminding myself to not be back and forth, but to continuously pull, 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 pull until that shot breaks and I have that direction. So that is just a quick run through. I'll now do it at full speed so you can kind of see it all come to fruition. Addressing the target, getting everything set with me and the bow. I see my spot that I want to hit, see where my tip of my arrow needs to be. Relax. Perfection. Pull, pull, pull. Right in the black. So it really, whenever I'm building up to this and talking about it, it seems like rocket science maybe. It seems like, wow, this is a really complicated deal, especially if you're like me and you're just a good old boy that likes to shoot bows. But particularly with these traditional bows like this, you have to put so much of, I guess, yourself into making this happen and making good, accurate, repeatable shots. And we are flawed. We have terrible concentration skills, at least most of us do, and almost no ability to focus on two things at one time. So what you're forced with as a result is having to create some kind of step-by-step process for yourself in order to make it all come full circle every single time. And then whenever something happens, like you pull a shot a little bit, you can diagnose it. As long as you've done everything else, if you screw up on something, it helps you zero in on whatever that might have been that you lacked on in that shot. So what usually happens for me, being totally candid with you, I get all the way through everything else, and sometimes, maybe it's just the way I position my head or whatever, something won't feel right with my anchor. And I have a pretty strong anchor, a pretty good anchor, a 3-point anchor, which I've talked about in another video. I'm in the corner of my mouth with my middle finger. This knuckle on my pointer finger is in my jaw, and then I feel my thumb knuckle against the back of my jaw up here, or back here, sorry. So we're gonna get joined by the cat on this video. So I pull back, I draw back, and I get into my anchor, and sometimes for whatever reason, whether it's how I position my head, my anchor will feel a little bit off from the start, and I try to just end up shooting through it, and I get in my head, and instead of just letting the bow back down like you should do, and I just fire through the shot, and I end up collapsing and getting shots to hit low right or high right, or I end up plucking my shot and throwing my shots off to the left. So but since I have that shot process, I'm like, I see where my impact of my arrow was. I know it didn't feel right whenever I shot. Okay, this is what happened. I was really tense in my bow arm shoulder, and it was making me kind of pull my chin in a little bit and contort my head the way I wouldn't normally, and so my anchor didn't feel right. Things like that. But if you have no process, no shot process whatsoever, you're just walking up to a line, drawing back your bow and shooting, you're not going to be able to diagnose your problems. And if you can't diagnose your problems, you're not going to get any better. And Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you're wanting to get more accurate as an archer, and you're getting frustrated of why that's not happening for you, but you're not being repeatable on your shots, you're not doing the same thing every single time to where if something is wrong, then you know what you did, then you're just gonna be flogging a dead horse every time you pick up a bow, and you're not gonna get anything out of it. And I promise, whenever that buck is standing in front of you, or you're out on that flat range or 3D course and you fall apart completely, there's not going to be anywhere to run. It's just going to be you and that bow, and you not practicing properly, and you've reinforced bad habits, and that's what you fell back on in that moment of pressure. And to build a repeatable shot process, so whenever that big bull or big buck is standing in front of you, all you're going to be thinking about is how good those back straps are going to taste on the grill later, not thinking about, oh, I hope I can make this shot. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I really am enjoying making these videos for you all and helping people however I can. I love shooting bows, I love archery, and I love teaching as well. So be sure to check back in, hit the bell icon so you're notified whenever I drop new videos. And if you would please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and show the videos that I've posted in the past a little love as well, and maybe check out some of them. There's a lot of good information on the channel. And all the new subscribers, we got a lot of you coming on. I want to say welcome to the Backwards Hat Nation, And I hope that whatever I'm able to bring with my vast amount of hobbies and knowledge and experience from a lot of areas, I'm able to help everybody a little bit somehow. That's my goal with this channel. So anyway, again, thank you for all the support. Thank you for watching this video. Stay safe and shoot straight.